Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is all about the changes that are going to be coming into your life now. What's changing, what's happening, what's going to look different. So we have 3 piles for you to choose from today. We have pile 1, 2 and 3. And if you like to choose your pile with crystals, for pile 1 we have some clear quartz. For pile 2 we have some citrine, and for pile 3 we have some snow agate. And if you like to choose your pile with an oracle card, we've got a few of those on top as well. So for pile 1 we have the dancer with self-expression and strength. We have for pile 2 the champion with achievement and downfall. And for pile 3 we have the astronomer with discovery and augury. You can also pick your pile based on the energy of the pile, based on the number of the pile or the numbers in the timestamps in the description box below, or based on the zodiac signs in the description box below as well. Once you have picked your pile, there will be a timestamp, you guessed it, in the description box below for you to find your reading more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye! Okay, hello my pile ones, so you picked the dancer, so let's get into your tarot cards. So you have the 6 of Wands, the 5 of Swords in reverse, the 7 of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Sun card as well. So I'm seeing a lot of changes in the way your life is gonna go from here on out, and that is because of a really significant shift with your relationships with people. So this could be a specific person, but it could just also generally be how you interact with others is changing. But there seemed to be a lot of competition, rivalry, basically a struggling of understanding. You know, there wasn't this kind of, okay, you're that way and that's you, and I'm this way and that's me, and kind of working together or just avoiding each other if that doesn't work. There was just this unnecessary kind of difficulty or challenge in relationships that didn't need to be there. But what I'm seeing is some sort of reconciliation, some sort of forgiveness, some sort of ironing out these difficulties. So again, this could be with a person, or it could be with the way you interact with people that you find difficult. So it could be a specific person, or just generally the way that you handle relationships that are difficult. And you're being like basically the bigger person, very diplomatic. You're the person who reaches out that olive branch rather than sort of existing in your fear of rejection or fear of being surrounded by, I suppose, really difficult people. You acknowledge you don't have to be surrounded by them, but you also don't have to kind of retaliate with their energy. You can just use your own energy, which is a really lovely energy. And when you start acting like this, you're acting more authentic, like you're in your kind of true light. You're not acting based on how someone has treated you, because then that means that they've got control over you and you're not acting in your authentic self. Instead, no matter how you find people, if maybe you find them a little bit weird, or if you meet someone and you're like, they're just not my cup of tea, rather than acting because of that and having to then kind of think you have to be combative or confrontational, instead you're like, well, what's true to me? Being true to me is being down to earth, grounded, nice to people, but, you know, keeping myself to myself and being particular about my circle, my inner circle, and that is absolutely okay. So you're realizing you can just still be you. No matter what people bring at you, you can still be you, and you can adapt to them as well. So, like, for example, if you're talking to somebody and they're very like quiet and introverted and timid, if you come at them with this like big extroverted energy, you might actually push them further away. And so you're adapting more to people by being like, okay, what would make this person kind of feel more comfortable right now as I'm talking to them? Maybe matching their energy, maybe not, you know, bombarding them with information if they find that overwhelming, but just slowly getting to know them if that feels better for them. But then if you meet someone who's like immediately wants to know everything about you and they're like this massive sunshine yellow energy, you can then see that and go, great, and match that if that's, you know, what you want to do. So you're also being more fluid, but all of these versions of yourself are authentic because we all have these versions within ourselves. No one is truly fully introverted or extroverted or sunshiny or kind of hidden or down to earth green. Everyone's got all of these energies. And so you're just like finally tapping into all these sides of yourself and being authentic with the way you interact with people. And this is transforming your enjoyment of life, because it's kind of like you get what you put out into the world. So of course, if you're walking around feeling triggered by people, you know, feeling angry, feeling down, you're kind of like, in a sense, creating that world for yourself where you will always be angry, you will always be down, you'll always be annoyed, because you're not pulling yourself out of that moment and looking at it from a more like omniscient point of view and letting things go. You're letting them build up within you. So if you start, of course, acting like your authentic self, fixing your relationships with people, interacting with people in a way that is more like fluid and accepting, which is your true authentic self, life suddenly looks a whole lot brighter. And it looks more fun, and people are more accepting of you, and you find that your interactions with people are getting better, and the way that they talk to and treat you is getting better as well, because there's more understanding there. People all of a sudden love you. They're all around you, celebrating you, supporting you, being there for you. Your social circle grows. On top of that, you're exuding this like lovely energy that's kind of bringing more people to you, bringing more positive interactions to you, bringing more life enjoyment. Day to day, you just find things are more exciting, fun, enjoyable, and you're actually starting to wake up and live life. It's no longer like you're kind of just walking through it and hoping this day goes by and you can just get on to the next one. Instead, it's like you enjoy slowing down and really experiencing the day, because the day is now so much more fun, so much brighter. On top of that, I do see a change for you in your romantic life. So I do see a little flame coming in for you, okay? I see a little romance brewing. I'm gonna ask a couple questions of tarot so I can kind of see more about this connection, who this person is. Ooh, okay. Oh, you definitely feel like you've hit the jackpot with this person. You definitely feel like you're very lucky to get them. You don't feel like you have to work for this relationship. It doesn't feel hard. Whatever this romantic connection that's coming in, this is different for you. This is something you're not used to. It doesn't feel tough. It's not like, oh, I have to compromise a lot, or oh, I feel like I'm kind of putting in 80%, they're putting in 20%. Oh, we're having loads of arguments. It's not like that. You feel like it's quite effortless. Like, if there's ever a little niggle, a little problem, a little like, just like, oh, they've kind of crossed a boundary a bit there, and you go to talk to them about it, I feel like it would be like you bring it up to them and they're like, yeah, okay, I'll never do that again, and they mean it, but you're so used to not hearing that you're like, and another thing, wait, what? Like when you actually register that they said that, and it's so much easier and flowing, and you're kind of like, oh, and the more it goes on, you get more comfortable, you get more relaxed, and you feel confident knowing you can go to them with anything and be like, you know, this bothered me today, or I didn't like this, or whatever, and it gets sorted to the point that it's a very open, honest relationship. They do the same with you, and it gets to a point where you literally have nothing that you need to kind of bring up, because now it's just smooth sailing. You know each other, you understand each other, and it's going really well. There's definitely, like, for sure, this is different to the type of relationships you've had before, with that kind of recovery energy coming from the Ten of Swords there in reverse. There's this lack of effort that you need to put in with that Seven of Pentacles in reverse. You can kind of just bask in what this connection is and be like, this is so fun, this is enjoyable. And then here's where we're getting that good luck energy. And then with that King of Wands, that's where we're getting this kind of maturity, because this person is just a natural at this with you. They're just a natural. They're a natural fit to you, but they also know exactly what they're doing. Like, they know to be responsible. They know to put effort in order to maintain this. They're not gonna leave it all to you, kind of thing. They're very honourable. They have morals, they have standards, they have ethics, and they're like, I'm not gonna treat you bad or leave you to do all the work or make you compromise. I'm gonna appreciate you for who you are right now and accept you where you're at. Like, they're not gonna try and change you or see things about you and think, okay, I'll say that I'm cool with that now but change my mind later. Like, for example, if you didn't want to get married, they're not gonna then be like, oh yeah, me neither, and then like 2 years, 3 years down the line be like, actually, I lied and you have to marry me or else we break up. Like, it's not one of those things. They're going to genuinely consider if that could create longevity if your ideals match, and see if they're okay with that. But I'm getting the vibe they would be comfortable with whatever your kind of future plans are. They'll probably match it. So yeah, I'm seeing a really good, positive kind of romantic connection there, as well as those sort of lifestyle changes, enjoying life, being more authentic, setting yourself free with the runaway there in reverse, with secrets, running from problems in reverse. You're no longer running from these issues, you're addressing them head on, because the two cards that card is sitting on, the Five of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Wands, this is about those relationships where there's a lot of friction, a lot of conflict, and instead they're being addressed to essentially kind of reconcile, make amends. And I think this might also be one of the key reasons why this romantic connection works out for you, because you now have this understanding of what reconciliation looks like, of what peace can look like, of what a good positive relationship can look like. Even if you don't get along with somebody, you can still have a healthy interaction with them, a healthy connection to them. So even if there's somebody in your life who really bugs you, you know, you don't have to go and be toxic and like have a go at them every time you see them, or like talk about them behind their back. You can just not do those things. Like, you could just be yourself, live your life, and try to essentially kind of make peace with the fact that you don't get along with that person, whoever it is, or whoever these people are that you come across in your lifetime. You don't have to retaliate to their toxicity. You know, if they're talking about you behind your back, stand up for yourself, of course, but that doesn't mean you go and do it too. You know, that's the vibe of this pile, and you're recognizing that. That's something you've already worked on. So this is why this is changing in your life, because you're acknowledging, oh yeah, like I don't have to surround myself with negativity, hatefulness, because other people are kind of forcing my hand there. I can just be authentic and take a step back from that. Like, you've already realized this. And so because you're about to implement those changes into your life, it's bringing so much more positivity, love, joy, recognition, honor, and it's also bringing you a really good connection too. So those are the changes that I'm seeing for you, pole 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I know it was a quick one, but I will hopefully bring out longer ones for you soon. But I'm just like super busy right now. But I cannot even tell you how busy I am. Like, I got stuffs, okay? So yeah, sorry about that, but I will be getting some longer ones soon. But I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe to support the channel, help a brother out, you know. And if you're drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 2s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Citrine with the Champion, Achievement and Downfall. And let's get into your tarot cards. First up, you have Justice. Next up, we have the Hanged Man. Next up, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Next up, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And lastly, we have the Three of Wands. So definitely a reverse in Justice. A reverse in Justice, a reverse in Downfalls. More achievements coming up in your life. Justice is being sought. If there's been an imbalance with the kind of positivity and negativity that you've kind of been experiencing, that's going to even out. So it's going to make sure that you're going to get the good things that you've been waiting on, the wishes, the dreams, the hopes, you know. If those have been missing in your life, they're definitely coming in now. If there's been a period of waiting, a period of sacrifice, it's coming in. It's almost like you might have to sacrifice some sort of things for this to come in. This change of these good things, these achievements. As in, for example, it takes a lot of time to, let's say, write a book. You know, it might take you 3 months, it might take you a year, and that's a sacrifice. You know, taking that time to write it and make it perfect, and then kind of only then do you get to publish it, only then do you get to think about marketing it and things like that. At that point, that's when you receive your achievement, but the sacrifice was that you had to wait, you know, a year to do that, or 2 years, or however long it took you. Or for example, let's say you want to be a lawyer, but first you have to do your exams, then you have to work at a company, but kind of on like an internship, so you're not really getting paid a lot and you're putting a lot of hours in, and then once you kind of get enough cases, you're now officially a proper lawyer and you're making bank, you know. So things like that. There was a sacrifice there because you knew that you had to do all these exams, do all this studying, take all this time, do the internship, to eventually get your final achievement that you were waiting for, which is that banging salary and that good job. Like, and that's kind of an element of this. So the change that's coming in for you is that you've already done this kind of waiting, this sacrifice, so that bit's kind of moved, that's out of the way. And so that period where you were kind of with the Five of Pentacles, sort of shut out from opportunities, shut out from achievement, you felt like you were kind of lost, when really you weren't lost, you were exploring, okay, and you were just heading towards prosperity, but you just didn't realize it, or you knew it but you were just kind of waiting and biding your time and sacrificing. And now that is in reverse, the Five of Swords, with the Justice, with the Champion, with the Hanged Man. It's like all that waiting, all that sacrifice, all that time of kind of financial instability is in the past. So the change for you is that your achievements are kind of steamrolling in, because you could have had all of these things on the go at the same time, and so now it's like all of a sudden you're getting this influx of really positive things all at once. And so it's like one thing after the other, and you're just kind of overwhelmed with how much positivity is coming in, how many achievements, how many successes you're having lately, and it's up leveling your finances for sure with that Five of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot of progress happening, especially in the area of your dreams, your hopes, your achievements, especially with that Three of Wands. There's a lot of progress here. Things are moving, things are working out well. Because you're past this kind of period. There is still something about your thinking, you're rethinking something. It could be that once you actually get to the top and you're achieving all these things, like for example, let's go back to that kind of lawyer example. It could be that once you actually are a lawyer, you're like, you know what, actually, and I've put loads of effort into this, but it's, yeah, I'm not sure if my heart was fully set on this. I might actually have my heart set on maybe being an artist or something, and so you've put a lot of effort in and it makes you good money, so you're still gonna do it, you're still gonna be a lawyer, but now you recognize it doesn't need so much of your attention. It doesn't need you to be like, I need this or else, you know, my life is incomplete, because you might find that what you actually needed was that job, that financial security, to then be able to indulge in the things that truly bring you joy, which could be a hobby of yours. Like it could have been like little stained glass making. I love those, where they put the glass together and they make something. Oh, so cute. Anyway, it could be something like that. It could be like painting, drawing, like, or just reading books, buying some books and reading them, like whatever it is that brings you true joy. Staying in, having a cup of tea while it's raining, reading a book. Like, it might make you realize once you actually get these achievements, when you actually get the things you've been chasing this whole time, it might actually make you realize, hey, actually, my joy, I've now experienced all of these things, and now that gives me time to reflect and rethink about what truly brings me joy, and that might lie elsewhere. It might be this, but it also might lie elsewhere, or it might lie in a few things. And so there's a sort of reshift there that's going to be changing the way that you spend your time, or the way that you interact with things or devote yourself to things. Maybe you won't put your 100% into something because now you realize you want to reserve 20% of that for something else, you know? I picked up the tarot deck, but an oracle card was underneath it. So you have the adventurer with responsibility and expectations in reverse. That's quite interesting. I feel like I'm going to pop that there. The champion, achievement downfall. The adventurer, responsibility and expectation. Interesting. Something that just popped into my head was that things might not be as serious as they seem, and you can give yourself some space. You know, don't be so hard on yourself, don't put too much on yourself, because it's not that serious. That's something that came in. So here we've got the Seven of Cups, the World card, the Sun card, the Four of Pentacles, and we got one more. We got the Eight of Swords in reverse as well. Let me see what I can do, because this is just looking a little wonky over here. Let me just that's the best I can do. But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely getting like things aren't that serious with the Adventurer and the Seven of Cups, because it's kind of like you have more opportunities available to you than you realize. So there's this thing of like also with achievement and downfall. I'm going to tie this in here. Sometimes when you've succeeded, you still feel bad. You still feel like it's a downfall. You still feel like there's some sort of problem. And that can just be to do with the way that you perceive things and your thinking. Maybe you're being too harsh on yourself and thinking that your achievements don't really matter. Like maybe you've got a little bit of like imposter syndrome, something like that. It's kind of like, in a sense as well. So coming back to, so all of these things are kind of coming in together. But sometimes when you achieve things, because of imposter syndrome, it feels like you haven't really achieved. And it's you being too harsh on yourself. That's your mindset. That's something that needs to reshift with the way that you're thinking about things. So when we've got the Seven of Cups here with opportunities, choices, illusions, you've kind of created this illusion for yourself a little bit, where you almost think you don't have options, you don't have opportunities, you don't have choices, because you kind of see all these things as maybe negative once you get them. And with the Adventurer, with responsibilities, expectations, it's almost like you assume you have a lot of expectations, you assume you have a lot of responsibilities, you assume that things aren't going well, or you're not doing things right, or you're not good enough for these things, whatever it is. And that is almost creating this illusion that you're helpless or optionless, or that you're stuck, when you're actually not. Things are moving, but it feels almost like your achievements are not tarnished, but what's the word where they're kind of like, not tarnished, but tainted? Yeah, a little bit. Your achievements are kind of tainted by this way of thinking. And so now we're seeing a flip in it with this Adventurer. We're seeing a reversal. So the thing that's changing for you is also how you appreciate yourself and talk to yourself, and then that leads to how you actually see your options in life, how you see your choices, how you see what's available to you. For me, like if I like really desire something and then I get it, I then kind of feel overwhelmed, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm good at this, and then I get really anxious, and then I'm also like, is this really what I want? Was it everything I thought it would be? And then I'm kind of robbing myself of the enjoyment of the thing. Like, I'm here, appreciate it, be in the moment, you wanted this, you know? So it's kind of like that. It's like you're kind of changing the way you talk to yourself when you actually get there, so that you're no longer stealing your light, you're replenishing it. You're celebrating your achievements, you're feeling positive, feeling happy, feeling good about these things, feeling fulfilled. So you're kind of removing this illusion that you've created, and with that blindfold there, that's creating the imbalance, because it's almost like a champion. Let's say, because whenever I think of a champion, the first thing that comes to my mind is boxing. I don't know why, but a champion might feel really great, or a champion boxer, but then they also, there's a dual side to that, because they feel really bad because their opponent, who has maybe trained for as long as they have, who they might know personally, who they can empathize with, who put so much effort into this, lost, and also they had to beat them up. So like, you know, it doesn't feel good. So it's kind of this dual thing of like, it feels really good, but then you almost feel guilty as well a little bit, or undeserving in some kind of way. And that is just the nature of the champion. That is just the nature of the person who succeeds. There's always going to be people that maybe you can empathize with, who you wish could be in this great position that you're now in. And you feel bad for them, and you wish you could help them out, and wish you could get them there. And you can, with, you know, advice, with giving your wisdom, with, you know, supporting them in any way you can, but you're not responsible for them, you know, and you have to acknowledge that, especially with responsibilities over here. If someone else didn't get your opportunities, if, you know, if you did a job interview with like another person and they didn't get it, but you did. Don't feel guilty about that. Don't, it's not your responsibility that they didn't get it. It just wasn't meant for them. And if the same sort of opportunity comes around again, you can just offer them advice or help if you know them. If you know, like, if you're talking to these people that you're feeling guilty about, you can offer advice. You can offer pearls of wisdom. But that doesn't mean you need to take on the weight and the responsibility of someone else not being where you are in life, how successful you are. Because when these changes come in where you're suddenly achieving a lot, that mindset can creep in and you have to lock it out. And you definitely will lock it out because it's come up in this changing tarot reading. So you definitely are locking out that mindset. But yeah, it's just something to be aware of. And when you do lock it out, that's when you really enjoy things. That's when you're really taking in everything, basking in your successes, really feeling excited about the next phases of your life. You're getting so much security because all these achievements are coming in at once. You're getting security now where this reversal of fortune is kind of happening and you're feeling really safe. And that's such a lovely energy that's coming in. You're definitely getting this new perspective. You're getting rid of your inner critic who's critical of yourself, who maybe feels like others were more deserving of these opportunities than you were. You're releasing that person within you. You're releasing that. You're releasing that voice. You don't need to listen to that anymore. You can celebrate your wins now. So you're shifting your outlook on what is your responsibility and what isn't. You're no longer internalizing that and carrying it with you. You're letting it go and feeling more free. So that is what I see for you, pole 2. Lots of achievements, lots of financial abundance, a big shift in the way that you look at yourself and look at others and look at your life and opportunities, the way you treat yourself and talk to yourself. And so I hope you enjoyed this reading, pole 2. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, help a brother out, And I'm sorry this reading was a bit short. I'm gonna try and get longer ones for you in soon, but at the minute I'm very busy, okay, but I will try and get longer ones for you. In the meantime, if you're drawn to any other piles, feel free to check them out. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Thursdays and Tuesdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Hello my pole 3s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Snow Agate and the Astronomer with Discovery and Augury, and let's get into your tarot cards. Ooh, you have the High Priestess in reverse. You have the 10 of Pentacles. You have the 4 of Wands. I was enjoying our black background theme then, but it broke. We have the 2 of Swords in reverse. And we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. I pulled 2 more oracle cards for you guys. So I got the Hunter and the Patron with sure-footedness and predestination, and then mentorship and finances. One of the big changes I'm seeing for you, first of all, before we get into anything, is that you are going to be focusing a lot on your financial intelligence, I suppose. So the way that you handle your finances, the way that you understand finances. So it might be that you look into how to invest properly, or how to kind of increase your assets in a kind of effortless way. So maybe getting into property, or getting into, I don't know, like a lucrative industry like weddings and things, like having a wedding venue or something. So it could be things like that. But either way, you're trying to up-level the way that you look at finances. You're trying to up-level the way that you use your money and the way that you think of your money. So instead of being really confused and not knowing sort of what direction to take, and not knowing how you should be handling it, should you be saving it, should you be investing it, you're kind of going to a professional and getting financial support or advice, so that you can try to basically have an easier time of it and use your money wisely. That's one thing that I see coming in for you. A second thing is potentially a really positive revelation. So I'm seeing 2 different things. It could be that one of these things is meant for you and one of these things is meant for somebody else who watched this pile, or it could be both things are meant for you. So take it as it resonates. But I'm seeing 2 things with this kind of discovery and this secret coming to light. Because we've got so much success, especially in terms of finances, but also just in general, a lot of success and family, and then we've got secrets. There's a a positive revelation coming to light about your family, especially concerning finances. And it could be that your family come into a lot of money suddenly. It could be that somewhere along the way, like, something very successful happens and comes to light. It could be a positive secret, like there's a family member that you didn't know about who's really great, and once you guys realize that and you all meet up and start to get to know this family member, they're the light to your family, like they bring so much joy. It could be anything like that, but just a very positive family secret coming to light that is gonna change things for you. How will it change things for you? It will change things for you, this secret, because it will bring harmony and balance. It will bring a lot of peace. Whatever this family secret is, it will suddenly right all the wrongs. It will rebalance the scale. It makes things more enjoyable. It makes things more positive, more creative, more free, more fun. A second thing I was kind of seeing is that you get discovered in some kind of way in terms of, and a reversal of heartache as well. In terms of, like, let's say you're a very beautiful person with a lot of model-esque features. You might be very tall, you might have very beautiful facial features or an unusual kind of androgynous appearance that is very beautiful. And for example, you might just be like walking down the street and then somebody is like, you, okay, and they kind of scout you and discover you. Or it could be like through social media they discover you, something like that. It could be that you just have some sort of talent that suddenly this light is put on it and people are like, wait a minute, that's a star right there. And I said star because of the astronomer card that you have. So I feel like there's something like that where it's almost like you're the secret, you're the thing people weren't looking at or noticing, or you were the kind of diamond in the rough that people weren't seeing and now they can see that diamond. It's like that. You're getting recognition and that is leading to a spotlight being put on you, and then a lot of success, especially in terms of your finances, a lot of abundance. It could even lead to you creating your own family because suddenly you find yourself around opportunities that lead you to your person. It could be anything like that, but that's something that was coming in as well. Something else that I just want to add is that you might feel like very uncertain about your future, especially because we're getting this financial thing going on. And you're so concerned with it that you want to go and find out what will work. So it clearly is a big thing that you're thinking about. And I just want to let you know that with the hunter there, we all have a predestination. We all have somewhere we're going to go, depending on what choices we make. And for you, that will always be a successful place. If you're concerned about where you're going to end up, what your finances are going to look like, what the future holds for you, with that 10 of Pentacles, it's a really bright future. It's a lovely future filled with family, filled with love, filled with security, financial abundance. So if you ever feel a lot of pressure, just trust and know that it's all going to work out for you in the end anyway. But what this massive change, I mean, you've got here about 3 different avenues of financial abundance. You've got you figuring it out for yourself by going to an expert, getting advice. You've got it coming through in a family secret, through some sort of family revelation. And then you've also got it coming through because you get discovered. So there's 3 different possible avenues of financial sort of abundance coming in for you. And I think there's 3 because it could be that all these things happen at once, but it could also be that depending on your choices or where things go, what path you kind of end up going down based on like the butterfly effect, one of these things are the thing that is going to lead you to your financial abundance. And this is massively changing your well-being, your sense of well-being. With the 3 of Swords there's no more pain, there's no more heartache, there's no more stress, no more worry, because when you get that security, you can breathe. For once, you can breathe, you can take a beat, you can rest, you can enjoy life. And you'll be sharing in that enjoyment. It's not a lone journey, it's not you on your own. For some reason, there's definitely others indulging in this abundance with you. Could be your family, could be friends. I'm getting a strong family energy though. But yeah, all your anxieties, all your worries, they just melt away. You can finally rest, relax, enjoy, meditate, be at peace. Like, there's no more stress, because of course money does cause a lot of stress, or peace, depending on how much of it you have. So of course, if you get a lot in, it's really just going to make you feel so amazing, and that's a massive change that I'm seeing for you. I'm also seeing another thing, a secondary thing of friendships coming in for you. So another big change for you is definitely you kind of getting your group, your people. So if you're someone who maybe you tend to kind of withdraw or go inward, or maybe maladaptive daydream or fantasize about your dream life because you're just not there, and you maybe were craving this kind of connection, this community, friendships, family, support, that kind of thing, peace, that's changing, where it's no longer this illusion, it's no longer this fantasy, it's now a reality. The things that you've been wanting and craving are actually coming in for real, and that makes you feel so much better, and now you can interact with the world in a different way. So rather than kind of escaping, going inward, trying to ignore your exterior world as much as possible, you're now actively engaging with it, you're enjoying it. Whatever your fantasies were, with the black backgrounds here, I feel like these are your fantasies, where you're imagining yourself as this empress, or this person with so much financial abundance, you can support your family, support yourself. If those have been your fantasies, and it's kind of been hidden in here, it's now like awakening in the real world. It's now opening up and coming through with the white here. This is the real world breaking through into your fantasies. And what you were fantasizing about, what you were escaping into, is becoming your reality. You're making it happen with the sort of financial investigating that you're doing, you know, the financial research, financial education that you're doing, but then it also might happen more organically as well, with the sort of discovery, or with this sort of family secret that comes to light. So there's lots of opportunities for you to bring in these fantasies into the real world, and that's the big change that's happening for you, because you're finally starting to apply these fantasies to real life. You're starting to disengage with that less. You're starting to engage with that less, you're disengaging with it, and engaging with the real world more. And this is really firming up your connections to people, your relationships, your friendships, your family. It's really helping those relationships that you have as well. So that's what I see for you, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, you know. And I will try and get longer videos for you guys, but I'm really busy at the minute. But when it's all settled down and it's a bit calmer, I hope I could get longer readings out there for you guys. But in the meantime, if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot.